today's episode, we travel the Shimanami Kaido, Japan's best cycling course, and across one of the world's largest suspension bridges. Whoops.
Nestled away in the Setouchi, Japan's inland sea, you'll find the world's best cycle road, the Shimanami Kaido. 70 kilometers long, over 6 islands and bridges from Onomichi on Japan's mainland of Honshu to Imabari in Shikoku. While best in warmer months, the Shimanami Kaido can be enjoyed all year round. Bikes can be rented for just 1,000 yen a day, and you can complete the course at your leisure. You can even finish earlier by dropping off your bike at one of the many checkpoints along the road and taking a short ferry back. I enjoy experiencing the ride over 2 days, starting in Onomichi early in the morning and ending in Imabari at sunset, staying overnight before a ride back and train home. But feel free to enjoy at your own pace over just one day or multiple days exploring the islands, sights, and secrets of the inland sea, such as taking a detour to Japan's Rabbit Island or whirlpool boat cruises. The relaxed and casual nature of this trip is a highlight for me. In fact, every time that I have been, I have never made a reservation, electing to just show up, pick up my bike and go. I find the freedom of it liberating, and in contrast to many of Japan's ordinarily rigid lifestyles. Like most visitors to the Shimanami Kaido, I started from the mainland in Onomichi, Hiroshima Prefecture, on a nice summer morning. I picked up my bike just 5 minutes walk from the station for a 2-day trip. After grabbing some snacks, I headed to the ferry, which takes you right to the start of the road. The ferry costs just 100 yen for people and an extra 10 for a bike, so not to worry if you miss the ferry, as I did while getting this shot, as the next one is only over 20 minutes away, and they run all day. With the fresh sea breeze filling the air, it's time to start the journey. A convenient blue line leads all the way to your final destination, as well as alternate routes, with information on where you are and how far to go, so no need to worry about getting lost. There are 6 islands on the main route, starting on Mukaishima, and it won't be long before you spot the beautiful emerald green sea and first of the bridges you'll cross. Most of the cycling is along the seaside, and you can ride easily without too much effort, with the majority of the hills as part of the ascent to the bridge crossings, after which you are rewarded with brilliant views while coasting down hills. If you need to take a break, there are many ice cream, lemon cake, and freshly grown orange juice stores for which the region is famous for. While crossing the Great Tatara Bridge, you'll come across the border between Hiroshima and Ehime Prefecture, which makes for a nice photo spot. In Japan, generally adult riders are not required to wear a helmet, but this is not the case in Ehime. So, if you had your helmet off so far and have been enjoying the wind and sun in your hair until now, it's time to put that helmet back on. Just in case, as people do get caught from time to time. Of course, this channel is all about safety, so naturally, we've been wearing our helmets since the start. Oh, and it was at this point in the edit I realized that you can't see someone winking through sunglasses. Absolute knob. Just after passing into Ehime Prefecture, you'll arrive at the Cyclist Sanctuary rest stop, and if you started the day around 8 AM as I did, it should now be about lunchtime. And as you're over halfway, what better time than this to reward yourself with a well-earned lunch? Fresh seafood is legendary in the inland sea, and for the cost of just 1,000 or 2,000 yen, you can enjoy some sashimi. Or perhaps fried fish, with a side of 5 different kinds of orange juice, freshly squeezed. From here, you can take a quick ride to the next bridge, or take a detour to Sakari Port and then a ferry to Okunoshima, Japan's Rabbit Island. Or take the more adventurous and hilly Island Explorer course, which I foolishly picked on my first day, adding an additional 45 kilometers, around 28 miles, up and down through the mountains. Did I mention that this was in August, one of the hottest months in Japan? During my trip, it was popping over 38 degrees daily, around 100 Fahrenheit, with 100% humidity. If you're wondering how sweaty I was after escaping the mountains, well, see for yourself.
I stopped off for a bit of a rest. Oh no, I think this riding is making me dummy thick.
Needless to say, I made frequent stops at the convenience to stock up on ice cream and Pokori Sweat, of which I drank over 10 liters. Fortunately, some light rain cooled me down, as well as got rid of some of the smell as I approached the final bridge before sunset. I was treated with what can only be described as bridge porn. Kurushima Kaikyo, the longest suspension bridge in the world at the time it was constructed, and just over 13,100 feet or 4 kilometers, an awe-inspiring feat of engineering. To put that in perspective, if it was standing straight up, it would be 300 meters taller than Mount Fuji. If there is nothing else that I can convince you to do when you visit Japan, it's this. You owe it to yourself to see the sunset over the Kurushima Kaikyo and the island sea of Japan. And it is with no exaggeration that I say that in all my travels, this is one of the most beautiful sights I have ever witnessed in my time here. It's really fitting that this bridge is the last step of the journey, and it's almost as if Japan itself is rewarding your day's efforts. After crossing the bridge, it's an easy downhill ride to the city of Imabari, where I stayed for the night at a local ryokan. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that my room was a mere 2,000 yen, with onsen access included to ease my aching body. After cleaning myself up, it was time for a treat with this kai sendon, a dish of sashimi, prawns, octopus and fish on rice, as well as oysters, both fresh and fried. For the more adventurous, you can even try this basashi, raw horse meat, often called sakura niku because of its pink color. After 10 hours of riding, over 100 kilometers and 5,000 calories burned, it was time to build up my energy for the return trip the next day. Imabari is a beautiful small seaside town, with a very unique castle which features a saltwater moat from the ocean, which gives this castle the nickname of the Mizujiro, the castle on the sea, with its high stone walls remaining intact from the Edo period. Unfortunately, on this trip I didn't have time to explore the area, but it definitely warrants a return trip in the future. Starting the return trip early in the morning, with fresh images of the sunset from last night in my mind, it was only natural to want to cross the Kurushima Kaikyo during sunrise as well, and the beautiful vibrance of the water might make you think you're in the tropics instead of Japan. While some choose to drop off their bikes in Imabari and take the 2-hour ferry back to Hiroshima, there is so much more to see and do on the return trip. The Seto Inland Sea holds over 3,000 islands and 55 bridges, so there will always be something new for you to find, such as these people scarecrows that make the bus stop seem not so lonely in a small town. Yeah, we aren't stopping for that. I know how that movie turns out. I had planned to stop by the Rabbit Island on this trip, but unfortunately due to an extended lunch break, I missed the ferry by about 20 minutes. So if you want to see that, be sure to plan ahead. As for me, I've been there before and I didn't want to wait 2 hours in the summer weather for the next one. I find the ride back much more relaxing, taking more time for photo stops and things that I missed on the first day, with my only concern of getting the bike back by 7 PM when the shop closes. Unfortunately, I got back about 30 minutes late as I stopped to watch the second sunset, arriving in Onomichi after dark. But the friendly nature of the locals really shone through, as they told me not to worry and returned my deposit despite my tardiness. With a short walk back to the station, I was bound for home. The relaxed and casual feeling of travel in the Setouchi, as I mentioned earlier, is something that I really appreciate, in contrast to many other organized activities that you'll find in Japan. Indeed, my only regret was picking a mamachari with a hard seat instead of something more comfortable, as I left looking a little bit like a baboon. Gomen oshiri, gomen. I think it won't be too long before I find myself back on the Shimanami Kaido, perhaps in spring, to enjoy some lemon cakes while the sakura are blooming, on the beach, listening to the waves. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, remember to like the video. Let me know what you want to see next from Japan below. Coming up on Inaka Adventure, trees shaped like hearts, turtles shaped like turtles, and me shaped like someone that's had a few too many lemon cakes and needs to go for a run.